Hey guys, I decided to watch TL Gent's new video. I knew it would get a bunch of views. I knew it. I called it. You're welcome, TL Gent. Also, I finally learned how to pronounce your username. Anyway, so this video here, the darkest OSC Iceberg explained. I think he's gotten way more subscribers from this video than I expected he would. He was DMing me about it earlier. Anyway, we're gonna watch this, and I decided to split it into two parts. So I'm gonna watch the introduction, the surface, and the shallow waters in today's episode. And then next episode, I'll watch Below the Wave. I'll watch the rest. Cool.
The object show community is almost 14 years old at this
It's older than the average age of a member of it.
point. You see, for the uninformed, the object show community was created back in 2010 by Michael and Carrie Huang. You see, back in this fateful year of 2010, these two decided to create an object show by the name of BFDI. And let's just say,
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, TL Gent. You don't need to introduce BFDI to the people watching this video.
ever since 2011, the community has been growing substantially, with new people making their own object shows, YouTube channels, and fan art.
I think a couple years ago we were a little subgenre on YouTube, and we're still a subgenre, but we're a big subgenre now.
Of already existing object shows almost every day. And me being the type of creator that I am, I've been interested in the object show community since I was very, very little. But
You're not the only one. I think every single person over the age of 12 who's in the OSC was in the OSC before the age of 12.
ever since 2020, a lot of new object show related videos have been popping up. You see, since that fateful year of 2020, a lot of people have been making icebergs about specific object shows like Inanimate Insanity and BFDI.
I think someone should make an object idiocy iceberg.
I mean, heck,
There's
somebody
not really much to say, but you know, if you want to make that, and it's like 5 minutes long, go ahead.
even made a BFDI OST iceberg. But you see, the thing is, I've never really seen anybody cover the actual object show community iceberg except for one person, and that was Gelatin Donut back in 2021, but his iceberg was only 11 minutes long, so I don't even know if I'm gonna
And this iceberg is 1 hour long.
count that, which is
This video is long. The other day, it's 50. My longest video is 55 minutes long. This video is 6 minutes longer than that. 6 minutes and 36 seconds longer than that.
why I have taken it upon myself to
That's why I decided to split it into parts, because I'm not making a 2-hour long YouTube video.
create the object show community iceberg explained. Now, if you've been living under a rock lately or just somehow don't know what an iceberg means, I'm gonna
Also, thank you for removing the effect, the glitch effect. That was hurting my eyes last time.
go ahead and explain it to you real quick. This is just an image separated by layers, and it goes from least creepy to most creepy, and that's really all you need to know. Now, one last thing before we actually start the video. If you're gonna skip to a random place in the iceberg, I suggest that you watch it all the way from there to the end of the iceberg. It really does help me out a lot. Now, without any
Okay, I will, okay, whoops. Wait, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Sorry, I was just making sure that my recycle bin was clear because I don't want this video to stop halfway through.
further ado, I present to you the object show community iceberg explained. BFDI.
BFDI? What's that? I've never heard of that before. I've only heard of, Object Trek.
BFDI was the first ever object show to be created on January 1st, 2010. The show was created by two
It's been more
12-year-old
than
brothers by the
14
name of
years. It's been more than 14 years.
Michael and Carrie Huang. BFDI mainly took inspiration from shows like Total Drama Island and Survival. BFDI
Survival? Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We all stumble over our words sometimes. TDI and Survivor are two of my favorite shows of all time, and so is the object shows. Like, I don't know why. I have this strange obsession with those sorts of shows where it's a cast of, like, 14 to 30-ish contestants competing where they get eliminated one at a time and maybe sometimes they rejoin. You know, I'm just obsessed with them. I have no idea why.
currently has 5 seasons, with 2 of them ongoing. And for a little while,
Yeah, 5. Oh, 5. Does IDFB count? Does it? Does it really? It has one episode. It's more of like a it's more of like just like its own thing.
Oh, the show actually had its own mini-series called BFDI Mini, which was created on TikTok. BFDI is so
BFDI Mini was huge for Jack and Jellyfy. Like, as soon as they started BFDI Mini, they went from like 600,000 subscribers to where they are now with over 2 million. Like, that was... holy moly.
so big that some people even create their own fan shows and movies of BFDI. And some questionable art. The OS...
That's gonna be down here in rock bottom. When I hit rock bottom, I was actually going up.
OSC. The Object Show Community, or OSC for short, is what BFDI basically created. And I'm gonna be honest, if you're watching this video, then you're probably in the OSC. And
I love the OSC. It's my favorite thing. This is 1. You know, when I first watched 1, I kind of didn't like it because I wanted a regular Object Show. And then when I rewatched 1, I appreciated it more. That's just a little thing about me.
as of recently, the Object Show community has been getting really popular. People are making their own.
But this opening really reminded me of the opening of Open Source Objects, which for a while was my favorite Object Show, but I kind of fell off it after episode 5 because it took too long.
On object shows, OSCs, and YouTube channels. The community was so big at one point that somebody even considered making a movie about the OSC, but we'll get into that later.
Oh, by the way, guys, speaking of a movie, kind of similar idea that I had on TikTok was an award show for the OSC, you know, like Best OS Object Show of the Year, like the Oscars.
But I will say that
Best OSC YouTuber of the Year, maybe Best OSC Theory of the Year. They could be a bunch of categories.
the community isn't always sunshine and rainbows. It's because there was a time where the community was pretty stagnant, and that's when J&J's AdSense account was suspended, so they...
I think during that time, Animation Epic actually surpassed Jack and Jellyfy in subscribers, but when they returned, you know, that changed.
Couldn't make any YouTube videos. But since then, the Object Show community has definitely recovered. Inanimate Insanity. Inanimate Insanity was
the Object Show. The OSC is bigger than ever, and I'm loving it. I'm so glad that it's finally like really popular. I found the OSC in 2016, and I don't know how big it was back then, but it kind of been more than 200,000 people subscribed to Jack and Jellyfy, which is like, I consider Jack and Jellyfy to be like the baseline of how popular the OSC is. If Jack and Jellyfy is popular, the OSC is popular.
the second Object Show to ever be made back on September 14th, 2011. The show was...
Inanimate Insanity, I love it so much. I love Inanimate Insanity. All 3 seasons, they're so good, dude. See, okay, season 1 isn't so good, but it's the nostalgia.
created by 13-year-old Adam Katz and a couple of his friends after being inspired to create an Object Show by BFDI. Over the years, Inanimate Insanity has built up its own little fan base. Inanimate Insanity...
Even the creators of Object Shows were children when they made them.
He has 3 seasons, with 2 of them currently ongoing, being the 2nd and 3rd season. This is more of the case when the show first came out.
The 3rd season isn't ongoing. I don't know when he was writing this script, but yeah. As of the time that this was uploaded, the 3rd season has ended.
But when Inanimate Insanity first released, it was...
That isn't a criticism of the video, I'm just saying.
more mature than BFDI, with a lot of the characters...
I think the reason that it's more mature and is more lore-based is why I like it so much. I'd say I like BFDI and Inanimate Insanity equally, but for different reasons, you know? They're not really that comparable. Like, if you want fun times and goofy gaffs and laughs and haha, go to Teapot or BFDIA. If you like lore and in-depth characters and deep plot lines and interweaving stuff like that, go to Inanimate Insanity. If you just want to have fun, Teapot's for you. If you want to have an actual story, Inanimate Insanity.
Especially balloons.
I'm not saying that Teapot doesn't have a story, it definitely does, but it's not as in-depth, because it's hard to make it as in-depth because the viewers have control over who leaves, right? Inanimate Insanity gets full control over the story, and that allows them to do anything they want, and I think that's to Inanimate Insanity's benefit, and, yeah.
Very often in the show. Inanimate Insanity was also known to be one of the first plot shows in the Object Show community, which is also why it's a very respected Object Show. And by some people, Inanimate Insanity is regarded as the best Object Show to ever be made.
I don't think it's the best object show. It is certainly, well, not my favorite, but it's definitely up there, and it's definitely one of the best. It is phenomenal. I highly recommend all 3 seasons of Object Idiocy. Object Idiocy? Inanimate Insanity. I'm not trying to plug my own show.
Friendly. Newt Friendly is, quote, like Gelatin Donut said, the national anthem of object shows. For those of you that don't know, Newt Friendly was a track created by Kevin MacLeod back in 2009. Ever since it got used in BFDI 1A, everybody started using it.
Yep, okay, this one. Yep, I know the one. Okay.
I promise you, if you go to a random object show episode from 2016, you will find Newt Friendly in the background.
I knew it within 3 notes.
It's just one of those classic tracks that you'll find.
Thank you for telling me the name. I'm gonna start using that in every episode of Object Idiocy from now on.
Object shows, you know? In fact, Newt Friendly is still used in some object shows to this day, which is actually insane how much this song blew up just because of object shows. Adobe Animate. Adobe Animate, or
I was gonna animate an episode of Object Idiocy in Adobe Animate, but I couldn't figure it out, so I didn't. But maybe I should. I think I deleted it. I might have to re-download it.
Known as Adobe Macromedia Flash, was the main animation app for most object shows. I'd say Adobe Animate is one of the most common animation apps used in object shows, right next to Flip-A-Clip. Most early...
I use Flip-A-Clip. Yeah, I might... Maybe if I want to take Object Idiocy a bit more seriously in Season 3 and 4, which I'm going to do, by the way. Yeah, I've planned out what I want to do for Object Idiocy. I've decided. The entire thing. Like, everything I want to do for that show, I've decided what I want to do for it. So yeah, maybe for Season 3, I'll use Adobe Animate. But that might make episodes take a lot longer, and I'm going to need to figure out how.
Your object shows were made on Macromedia Flash, which is the same thing as Adobe Animate, just a tad bit different. Which is also mostly why you find a lot of popular YouTubers saying Flash instead of Adobe Animate. In fact, BFDI 5B was actually a Flash game, which unfortunately is one of the reasons why it's unplayable.
Wait.
Was actually a Flash game, which unfortunately is one of the reasons why it's unplayable. Kinda, I guess. But
it's kinda unplayable. I mean, like... You could just go to, you can play it. Like, just search, like, boom. Like, you can play it.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that Adobe Flash definitely holds a special place in a lot of animators' hearts. Just seeing how simply nostalgic a lot of old Flash games are to a lot of people. But I grew up on Scratch games, so I can't really relate.
I grew up on Roblox.
Joke shows. Joke shows are...
Joke shows! Lego Boy NJ! I know that guy.
Basically just a subgenre.
I don't know that guy. I know of that guy.
Within the object show community. Joke shows usually just take a piss at like really formulaic object shows and kind of turn...
Honestly, I think joke shows only started doing that after Battle for Circle and 1, to be honest. But I haven't really seen particularly many joke shows. To be honest. I think a lot of the time joke shows were more absurdist humor.
Turn into, well, a joke. The best examples of this being BFPOR, Object Filler, and Battle for Circle. And of course we can't forget...
You forgot Battle for Grandma!
Forget about the joke show that started it all, Object Show 87. TDOS was also a pretty good example, but the show got
You forgot Object Idiocy!
More serious as the series progressed. The case of joke shows is a really interesting one, so if you want to get a good, fair analysis on joke shows, then I recommend a person on YouTube's video about it. He actually gives some fair criticism on these joke shows.
Apoy, as I call him. We're on a acronym name basis. Yeah. No. I haven't actually seen that video yet. Maybe I should. If you want me to react to it...
Wow, fair criticism on a joke show. That is the dumbest sentence I've ever said. Satomi. Satomi,
I know who that is.
Was one of the showrunners for pre-split BFB and early Teapot episodes. She served as an animator, writer, and I think storyboarder, but don't quote me on that. She was also...
I'm gonna quote you on that. I'm gonna add a quotes tab to my Discord, which you're in. Thank you, by the way.
voice actor for BFDI and voiced a decent amount of characters. Satomi was definitely highly respected within the BFDI and OSC community, and that's mainly because of a lot of her contributions to BFDI and early Teapot. I mean, that's a lot of dedication being a voice actor, animator, and writer for an object show. It was also—
I'm the voice actor, animator, and writer for Object Idiocy. Where's my praise?
also know that Satomi was a fan of BFDI ever since BFDIA, but unfortunately after working on a couple of Teapot episodes, Satomi was laid off from the crew due to creative differences.
Wait, really? Wait, for real? I did not know that.
Which, needless to say, was definitely a pretty sad day for the object show community. Recommended characters. Recommended characters are fan characters recommended by viewers and fans of an object show. This process was popularized in late BFDI and has been growing ever since. Usually in these cases, the recommended characters will make an appearance.
Yeah, recommended characters. I know those all too well.
In the actual object show episode. I'm guessing these are hosted either on Patreon or Discord servers, but the process of recommending—
Most of my recommended characters are just someone will type in the comments, I recommend pee pee poo poo.
The characters has slowed down a little bit ever since they stopped appearing in BFB and Teapot. I remember back in the day when I always wanted to recommend a character for BFB, but I never could is because I didn't have a laptop or anything, which I will say definitely made 8-year-old me very, very sad. Stereotypes.
Uh-oh.
Stereotypes in object shows are basically just stereotypical personalities for object show characters.
Hey, he still got his old logo as the little watermark.
Examples of this being Flower, your stereotypical mean girl character, and Leafy, your stereotypical nice guy character. You can also go with Blocky, your stereotypical prankster character, and Snowball, your stereotypical—
I was thinking he was gonna do, like, which object characters across many object shows have the different, or like have different stereotypical characteristics attached to them. Like maybe a boxing glove is like a mean guy, or something like that. Or like glasses would be a nerd character. I was expecting it to be like that, but okay, this is a fair take on stereotypes.
Jock slash
In
bully
BFDI.
character. These types of character personalities were more present in the earlier days of the object show community, but they still shine through today. I will say that it is far less common to see stereotypical characters in object shows now, but there definitely still are some to this day. Object show shorts.
Okay, I guess he kinda did touch on what I was mentioning. Okay. Watch the video, Thorm.
Object show shorts are basically just miniature episodes of
Nice
already
ad.
existing object shows. They're mainly just small animated skits to distract the viewer from what's going on in the actual show. There are a lot of fan object show shorts made of popular object shows like BFDI and Inanimate Insanity.
Oh my god, he died. Sorry, I'm looking at the artwork in the background. That's a problem I have. I just look at what's happening in the background and I don't actually listen to what he's saying. Object show shorts, right.
But sometimes the official creator of an object show can upload their own short. This practice is more popular for smaller object shows, but every now and then a bigger object show will
Not object idiocy. I have taste.
release a couple shorts. Also, don't get this entry confused with object show clips. They are two different subjects.
Object show clips, eh? Clips? Thrarb clips? One day I'll tell you the story of where that name came from.
I'd say one of the best object show shorts creators will probably be K-Fire the Animator. Even though a lot of them don't have voice acting, they're still pretty entertaining to watch. If I don't completely forget, then I'll leave a playlist to some of them that I like. Old Jack and Jellify logo.
You forgot.
This entry basically just refers to the old Jack and Jellify logo being a spoof of the Homestar Runner logo. If you don't know what Homestar Runner is, it was basically an old web series created in the mid-1990s. Just a silly animated web show that had a bunch of wacky characters in it. It was speculated that J&J were fans of—
That's like the most vague description you could give of anything. And that's like every animated web show ever. What are you talking about? Suction Cup Man?
Homestar Runner seeing
I don't think many of my fan audience will get that reference because they probably haven't watched it, and I wouldn't recommend you watch it.
how they took inspiration from their logo. The logo was changed sometime before BFB or shortly after, and well, ever since it's been the logo that we all know and love today, the one with 4X in it. But the old Homestar Runner logo was nostalgic nonetheless. The Huang brothers. I honestly
Those are the guys who made it. That cloud looks like a snowball.
don't know why I put this entry so low. Anyways, The Huang brothers, Michael and Carrie Huang, were the creators of BFDI. Very early on in BFDI's history, Michael and Carrie were the only people actually working on BFDI. But as the quality for episodes in the BFDI series started to get higher, the Huang brothers
I'm the only person working on Object Idiocy.
started to hire more crew members. Both Michael and Carrie own a total of 7 channels altogether, all of which I will
Which is too many.
not be mentioning in this video just because I do not feel like it. Also, I'm guessing that a lot of
I know a couple. They've got Humany, they've got Carrie KH, there's some others as well.
you guys already know who these channels are anyway. Animation Epic. Animation Epic is run by Adam Katz and a couple of his friends, and together they founded Inanimate Insanity. I would say the second biggest object show in the object show community. Now,
Definitely the second biggest object show in the OSC.
a little bit after Inanimate Insanity was made, Animation Epic would actually become pretty good friends with Jack and Jellify, and the two groups usually attend OSC events together. Unfortunately, their two shows, Inanimate Insanity and BFDI, are non-canon, which basically just means that the shows are not connected and do not take place in the same universe.
Except for Nickel. Nickel does, I think.
Which I speak for the entire OSC when I say that it's kind of sad that they're not canon. Serious shows. This entry basically just refers to a
Really? Joke shows above serious shows? I think there's far more serious ones.
bunch of serious shows in the object show.
Are you talking about like plot-driven shows? I'll
community
keep
that
watching.
cross over the line of being a little bit more morbid. I'd say the last few seasons
Okay,
of
so okay.
TDOS and 1 are good examples of this. I am personally a fan of seriouser shows. It really just shows you a different side of the object show community than I personally.
As one of the older members of the OSC, which is weird to say considering I'm still incredibly young, like pretty young, but knowing the age of people in the OSC, I'm probably older than a lot of them. I do like myself a good plot-driven show every now and then.
Like Inanimate Insanity, in my opinion, is one of the first object shows to actually popularize this.
Season 2 specifically,
Which is probably another reason why people enjoy serious shows so much, as it kind of takes a break from the more sillier aspect of object shows. And it definitely shows in the view counts of some of these object shows.
Yeah, the first episode of II Season 2 has like 14 million views. It's insane.
BFDI in the news. This entry's just referring to that one time where the marker plushie was in the news. That's it. 2,763. If you've been watching BFDI for like at least the past year,
you forgot to put a graphic
then
up
you
for 2,763.
know how much they used 2,763. The first time that it was brought up in the series was in late BFDI Season 1, and ever since it's become a running gag within the show. Now, over the years, a lot of people started to wonder why they used this number so much. So after a lot of people asked Michael and Carrie why they used 2,763 so much, they finally gave an answer. You see, that number that I'm not going to say again because I'm too tired of saying
What, 2,763?
it basically refers to the number of offspring within the Huang family. But some people were still speculative if that was the
What a strange number to pick. Also, what? That's a big number.
real reason, but I guess we'll never know. Object show fan art. Chances are if an object show gets big enough, there's going to be
It doesn't even need to be big enough. Object Idiocy has fan art. There's like 30 million of them in my Discord. You just have an object show and a community, and you've got fan art.
on it. You can find these pieces of media on DeviantArt, Tumblr, or even Scratch. And hey, if you're lucky enough, the creator might actually feature your fan art at the end of an object show episode.
No, that's not gonna happen. Go to my Discord.
Now, to me at least, I don't really know when fan art actually started happening, but if I'm going to make an educated guess,
There's been fan art as long as there's been fans of stuff.
I would say early BFB, because I'd say that's when the audience really started to grow for BFDI, but then again, I could still be wrong.
You are
But not
definitely wrong.
all of this fan art is good, and sometimes people draw really questionable art about object shows, which we will talk about more in-depthly at the bottom.
One thing that I think BFB did do was make these sorts of characters where the hosts kind of just have that algebraian look to them. Ever since 4 and X got introduced, like that never happened before. They were always just normal. And then as soon as BFB happened, now every object show, every single one has this sort of look to the host. And I guess, that's a good way to separate the host from the contestants, but they also do kind of feel out of place in my eyes, but, whatever. Who am I to judge? That's what I think BFB did the most of for the OSC.
YouTube channels.
Hey, I've got one of those.
This entry just refers to all the channels made about BFDI or other popular object shows. Good examples of this are creators like FastStuck, Hypercrystal, Fortle, and a person on YouTube. Other smaller examples of these YouTubers are creators like Misk OSC and Tharm Clips.
Yes! Yeah! Woo!
You should all go check them out. They're pretty good YouTubers. But don't click off this video though. I still need that watch time. But not all of these YouTubers have good reputations, and some of them
I've got a good reputation.
have actually done pretty bad stuff, and some of them have
I've done some pretty bad stuff. No.
actually done pretty bad stuff. But we're gonna touch on that way further down in the iceberg. Discord. This
Hey, I've got one of those. You should join it. Find it in my community tab. Find the link.
entry just refers to all the Discord servers made within the Object Show community. These Discord servers can range from fan art servers, Object Show servers, to even YouTube channel servers. Over the years, a lot of Object Show creators have used Discord to communicate with each other. Also, this is more recent, but a lot of Object Shows and camps are created through Discord. In fact, I bet some of your favorite Object Show creators use Discord.
I've been in a camp or two. Shout out to good friend of mine, well, what's his face? Cheese Doodles Fan on YouTube. He made a really good camp, which I participated in the second season of. I also participated in a different camp he made called BFDI The Mole, seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5 reboot. I didn't compete in the original season 5, I competed in the season 5 reboot. And I won season 2, spoilers.
Or to communicate with each other. Not all of them, but some of them definitely do. I used to use Scratch though, so I can't really relate. Fans. This entry basically just refers to the
There's a fan on the screen.
fans of Object Show YouTubers or already existing Object Shows in the community. And I would say while the majority of fans in the Object Show community are normal, there are definitely a lot of weird people in the Object Show community that are fans.
There's weird people in everything. In every community, there's gonna be some weird ones.
Of already existing weird Object Shows. I would say a good example of this would be Object Terror. There are also a lot of weird fans for popular Object Shows like BFDI and Inanimate Insanity. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think Object Terror had any real fans. DeviantArt.
Oof, ouch, man. You're gonna just insult Object Terror like that? Thank you, though.
DeviantArt is basically just a art sharing website that a lot of Object Show users use. A lot of camps used to be made on DeviantArt back in the day, but like I mentioned earlier, a lot of people just use Discord now. Now, even though I didn't use DeviantArt a lot of my friends did, so that's kind of how I know as much as I do about it. But DeviantArt doesn't have the best reputation is because there is a lot of weird art.
There is. That's why I've kind of stayed away from DeviantArt, if I'm being completely honest. I have an account under my old username, but I haven't logged in on many years.
On there, I don't suggest searching it up. I promise, if you do, you are going to get your childhood ruined.
If you ever want to search anything online, under Google Images, turn on Safe Search. Turn it on. If it's not on already, go check. If it's not on, turn it on. If it is on, keep it on.
YTPs. YouTube poops or YTPs are basically just very high energy edits or parodies of existing Object Shows. Honestly, you could probably find YTPs of any existing show. They're not just restricted to the Object Show community.
I don't think there's any YTPs of Object Idiocy.
No, even though a lot of YTPs aren't being made, there still are a lot of them that are pretty good nowadays. Some good OSC YTP creators are Bendy Fan Animations and
I know who that is.
Paper Mario Party. You should go check them out. I'm telling you right now, their YTPs are hilarious, bro. Especially the collabs. X finds out his value. X finds out his value.
X finds out his value.
Was an animation that Michael and Carrie made for the pre-algebra class back in 2008. While recording this, I messed up and said that was the first ever BFDI related animation when it wasn't. But yeah, this animation was definitely a classic, and I think that they played this in my elementary school, but I could be wrong. It is kind of cool to see some of the older animations that Michael and Carrie made before BFDI, and if you were watching them back in the day, you probably...
And it's crazy to know that X and 4 are that old, right? Like, they're that old of characters. I honestly, for a while, thought they were made for BFB.
I would have no idea that those two characters in X Finds Out His Value would later become the hosts of BFDI. Or BFB, my bad. But, yeah, that's all we're going to cover for Tier 1. Let's move
Okay, moving on to the next tier. The Shallow
on
Waters.
to Tier 2.
Alright, yeah, you can stop now. Is that the Undertale
Games.
font?
I think this entry is just referring to all the games made related to object shows like BFDIA 5B, or it could be Fiery's Candy Bar Adventure or Wage the Fet, one of those. I don't really know though.
I don't know any other BFDI themed game.
Honestly, if I'm going to be like 100% honest, I don't think anybody else in the OSC has like made games for their object shows besides BFDI. But hey, if there's
I mean, if you want to see an object idiocy game, I'll try.
any other games in the OSC that I don't know about, feel free to let me know in the comments. Total Fiery Island.
Total Fiery. I'm your host, Chris McObject, and welcome to Total Fiery Island, the object show named after Fiery, despite the fact that he didn't win.
I have another entry on this iceberg titled TFI. That is not Total Fiery Island, it's Total Fruit Island, but we'll get into that later.
Total Fruit Island?
Anyways, Total Fruit Island was one of the first forms of actual visible media of BFDI. Well, actually, technically, it wasn't BFDI. It was just the BFDI cast in a different show before BFDI. Which is weird, is because that means that they've been competing for the past fucking 15 years. Like, damn.
Like, you gotta be some level of desperate for whatever the prize is to compete in 6 object shows over the span of 15 years. I'm looking at you, Teardrop.
Bro, y'all don't get tired of that? I mean, no wonder IDFB was created. They probably needed a damn break by then. Okay, nah, I'm just playing. I didn't mean all that. Twow. 10 words of wisdom.
10 words of wisdom. Will he mention Iwow later?
The word Twow for short was a camp created by Carrykin. Okay, I keep saying Carrykin, but it's Carry KH, so my bad if I say that on this iceberg. Anyways, 10 Words of Wisdom was a camp created by Carry KH back in 2015, I'm guessing. And like he said in the prologue,
You mean I'm guessing?
episode, he said it was a rebooted version of a way older camp that he made called Baguette. I'm not going to explain the whole history or meaning of 10 Words of Wisdom, but if you want to go see it, then go to Kerry KH's video, 10 Words of Wisdom 0A. I think he gives a pretty good explanation on it. AdSense account suspension. This
I don't even know why that happened.
was both a sad and iconic moment in the OSC. You see, for those of you that don't know, back in 2013, Michael and Carrie's AdSense account was suspended, so they couldn't really make money from YouTube for a while. So during the time their AdSense account was suspended, they didn't upload anything. Which of course meant that the ongoing season at the time, BFDIA, didn't get any new episodes released during that time frame. I mean,
So that's why it got cancelled and then brought back.
the OSC wasn't completely hopeless at the time. People just watched Object Overload, EEE, or Object Invasion.
Oh right, EEE was on back then. That's crazy. That's an old show. No wonder web stripes are so popular. Also, it's because he liked and subscribed to prevent Lankybox from frying.
We're going stir crazy trying to find out what happened to BFDI 6 until it came out 10 years later. Inanimate Insanity Season 2. This is literally just the second season of Inanimate Insanity.
One of the best seasons of any object show. I still don't know if I prefer season 2 or 3, but I think I'd have to say season 2 is just a little bit better.
Yeah, nothing much else to say here. I mean,
But season 3 has significantly better animation and like aesthetic look to it. It looks so much better, but
it's my favorite season in my opinion, okay? It's my opinion. It's my opinion, okay? A person on YouTube. A poi or a person on YouTube is basically just
he commented on my videos not many times, a couple times.
known for being an Eggy stan. Nah, I'm just playing. He's not known for being an Eggy stan. Basically,
He kinda is.
a person on YouTube is just he mainly uploads like miscellaneous content to his channel, but he is mostly known for liking Eggy a lot. But, you know, yeah. BFDI wiki.
And I hope Giant Snowball isn't watching this video.
The BFDI wiki is basically
I'm just playing Giant Snowball. If you are actually watching this video, I'm just playing.
a Wikipedia page for BFDI that has a bunch of assets, backgrounds, and poses and stuff like that. I remember back in the day, I used to go to the BFDI wiki and use some of their backgrounds on my own object show on Scratch. Those were definitely simpler times. BFDIA 6. BFDIA 6.
Now the audience will never know who got eliminated in BFDIA 6. And then we did.
Which was the 6th episode of BFDIA.
Does BFDIA continuing invalidate IDFB a little. Am I crazy? Like, am I the only one who thinks that? Because, like, first of all, like, a lot of IDFB exists in the state it exists because BFDIA never continued, and then BFDIA did continue.
Which was lost for about a decade, but the reason why it was lost for so long is because Jackie Jellify's AdSense account was suspended, so that was probably why. But then the series just randomly popped up a decade later, and it just created a bold...
I remember when they announced that one of their series would be returning, everyone was arguing about whether it was BFDIA 6 or IDFB, and I saw someone say, it can't be BFDIA 6, they said BFDIA 6 is cancelled. I think it's IDFB because they never outright said it was cancelled, and then it was BFDIA. Wouldn't want to be that guy.
Load of new fucking memes in the OSC, bro. BFB...
That guy was also me, but yeah.
Used songs. This entry is basically just referring to all the unused tracks used in BFB that don't really have a name. Yo, I'm an absolute dumbass. They're called unused songs. I said that they were used in BFB. No, bro. Honestly,
yeah, I mean, we all make mistakes, you know. This is one of the, you corrected yourself, and that's what matters.
I'm just dumb, bro. I'm beyond dumb. Contestant companies and object shows. Even though I said in object shows, this is mainly referring to BFDI. Mainly because you probably won't find a lot of other contestant companies within other object shows.
There's Hotel OJ.
There definitely are some, just not that I can find. If I'm gonna be like completely honest though, a lot of these contestant companies that were in BFB kind of annoyed me when I was a kid, like whenever I would see them come on screen, especially Lollipops for some reason. I legitimately do not know why, I
liked them. I thought they were cool and they added a nice little touch, you know, a little bit of depth to the world.
Something about that just kind of like annoyed me for some reason, I don't know. Total Fiery Points. Total Fiery Points was another comic strip created by Michael and Carey back in the day, but I think that one was mostly lost to time. The majority of the Total Fiery Points...
There's a crazy number of object shows that I've started working on and then never actually made any episodes for. The favorite one of mine that I made, I don't even remember what it was called, but I made it entirely on Google Slides before animating the first episode. That was going to be so good, and then I never made it. There was another one called Netl, or Nettle, which was kind of, I saw one, and I was like, I want to do that. So I did that, and then I realized, oh, I'm just ripping off one, so I never made it. And then there was one other that I can't remember the title of, but it was going to be kind of realistic. It kind of influenced Object Idiocy with the assets just being images that I got off Google Images, where everyone was gonna look, every object was gonna look like a real object, and the background was gonna be like the Windows XP wallpaper. Yeah. Maybe I should bring some of them back. Oh, and then there's also Contest for Omnipotence, which I made, but that I did make that. Maybe after Object Idiocy ends, I can return it.
Points comics were lost, and I don't think we're ever gonna find them again. It does kind of suck though, because I feel like people talk about Total Fiery Island way more than they talk about Total Fiery Points. But I mean, then again,
them talking about Total Fiery Island more than they talk about Total Fiery Points makes sense, because we don't really know what Total Fiery Points was.
Can you really blame them though? Like, there's not really a lot of media with Total Fiery Points. I mean, like, you know, there's not really much to actually talk about. But still though, I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of make me kind of sad. Viewer votings. Viewer votings are basically just like mini object shows, so where like they'll have a like very small challenge
that Mike II?
Contestants will compete in, and then the viewers get to vote out, you know, who gets out. I would say viewer votings are pretty interesting, but they definitely are a newer thing in the OSC. I mean, I think
viewer votings are a newer thing in the OSC. You know, the thing that BFDI Season 1 did.
Started to see them pop up around 2020 or 2021-ish. I don't know, though. But yeah.
Huh? Oh, you mean like when someone else takes an object show and then has their viewers do it. I get it. Okay.
Basically, just to sum it all up, viewer votings are just like a miniature object show where...
Okay, I know what you mean. Okay, sorry, I was confused for a second.
No, viewers vote on who gets out, basically. Back when I was on Scratch, I used to see a lot of those. The BFDI Iceberg. This entry just refers to all the BFDI related
This is an iceberg.
icebergs that were made mainly in 2020.
Welcome back.
But there was one made in 2023 that was like 2 hours long. But the guy that made
This is one made in 2024 that's 1 hour long.
that turned out to be like kind of a scumbag, which we will talk about more indefinitely at the bottom of the
At the bottom of the iceberg.
iceberg. Merch. A common thing for newer object shows is to
Merch.
have merchandise to come along with it, and honestly, this is a pretty wholesome practice.
I really wish I hadn't picked some of the characters that I picked for Object Idiocy. Like Bazinga and Cade Mullane and Lankybox are all contestants in my object show. I'm not going to be able to make merch out of them.
If you want to get some merchandise from your favorite object shows, this practice is usually wholesome until some freaking weirdos gets fucking body pillows involved in it. Yeah, of course, there's gonna, you know what? There's gonna be weird people with every single thing, like, niche in any community. That's
Not even niche, just every single thing. Period.
That's the takeaway from this video. How about that? You know what? Yeah. Yep. That is a good lesson to learn. That is a pretty good lesson.
Sorry that I keep making. Sorry that I keep doing that. I'm just making sure that my recording is still going, which it should be. But I'm paranoid.
Stands are
Yo, I love that song, Stan.
basically just extreme fans of object shows that usually
Yeah, stalker fans.
make pretty weird art of their object shows that they idolize. Which honestly, I think me and you can agree that we both hate these types of people. I mean, like, who would want to be a stan? If I'm gonna be completely honest,
Stans, probably.
I think this has to be like the most hated group of people in the object show community, right next to the groomers. Honestly, I don't think I need to explain exactly why
The groomers. You're gonna make that a group of people in the OSC.
stands are horrible. I mean, just look at the dream stands. They're pretty much just as bad. Actually, no, they're not. I will not be saying that because dream stands are way FLA files.
Huh, I wonder why he cut there. I wonder what happened. I wonder why he cut.
FLA files are basically just like mini animations that you can usually download or buy.
It's fine.
For some reason. For an object show, most popularly BFDI, or I don't know if it was for Inanimate Insanity, not that I know of, I don't think. But yeah, this was definitely popularized by BFDI, as a lot of things on this iceberg. But yeah, so basically you can download FLA files of backgrounds, the BFDI assets.
Should I let people download FLA files of Object Idiocy? No! Screenshot it!
It's like arms and limbs and all that stuff. I tried to do that before, but I don't know how to animate on Adobe Animate, so I never really finished it. So yeah, feel free to download those if you want. I might leave a link in the description. Again, I will probably forget. Comics. This
You
entry
forgot.
refers to all the comics created of object shows. The most popular instances of this happening were Total Fiery Points, Total Fiery Island, and the Inanimate Insanity comics made by Cake Brunch.
I love the Inanimate Insanity comics.
I think Cake Brunch made them. I don't know.
I might make Object Idiocy comics. I don't want my entire personality to be Object Idiocy though.
Don't read those. They look cool. I just don't read them. But yeah. I feel like the only downside to these though is that like I don't really see them being made anymore. Like nobody really like makes comics for their object shows, which it's not a bad.
I will make many
Thing.
millions.
But it is kind of sad.
Yo, I should make an object show webtoon. That would be
I'm not
funny.
gonna lie. Hypercrystal.
Hey, it's Hypercrystal. I know of that guy.
Okay, if you don't know who Hypercrystal is, he's basically like one of the biggest BFDI related YouTubers. Like, even though he only has like 150K, like he's pulling numbers like he has like 700,000 subscribers. Like,
Yeah, I mean Hypercrystal. Just that, those sorts of dudes, right? Hypercrystal and Apoy and Fast Duck and even Giant Snowball to an extent. Like, I don't know how they do it.
like Dude, like, he has like, I don't know, like 10 videos max. Like, I mean, minimum that have over 1 million views. Like, he has
His most viewed video has 1.4 million views.
to be like one of.
I don't have
he's
1.4 million views total.
there in the freaking in the OSC Hot 100. Like, I think he's actually in there, but I could be.
He is in there. He's definitely in there. He's like 20th, dude.
But like, he's huge. He's actually fucking huge, bro. The BFDI
Whoa, language, bro.
a dance. This entry just refers to a dance that a lot of contestants did in BFDI 10 that gets on my nerves because I see it everywhere, all over the OSC. It is on my freaking. It is
Someone's getting emotional. No, I'm just joking.
on my freaking recommended tab, and it annoys me so much to see it. At first, it was funny, but now I keep seeing it everywhere.
It did get a bit oversaturated. In fairness.
And it's driving me insane. But like I said with Fiery Underwear, this is one of the many memes in BFDI, specifically BFDIA. But, you know, yeah, this is just one of the many memes in BFDI that people are running into the ground, in my opinion. Yes, that is my opinion. You are not entitled to my...
It's muted because he just starts, like, aggressively screaming into his mic. What the heck?
Meetups. This entry is pretty self-explanatory. Meetups are basically just like, well, meetups. You know, you get to meet famous creators in the OSC, like
yeah, famous creators in the OSC such as
Jackie Jellify, Inanimate Insanity. I think who am I talking about? I think Bribe's usually there too. Webbs is there, I think.
Webbs goes to these? Oh, I gotta go. I want to meet Webbs. Do you think if I went to one of these meetups one day, people would recognize me? Probably not, but it could, maybe. I've got my face everywhere. My face. This is one of the... Because hardly anyone else in the OSC shows their face, this face is probably one of the most iconic faces in the OSC.
I don't really pay attention to those. Like, I'm not really always up.
Or maybe I am highly overestimating my influence, which is probably...
Dated with the meetups, but they seem pretty fun. Like, I always kind of wanted to go to one. I was never able to, but
I'm probably gonna go to one day, and then I'll meet people. I'll say hello, good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning, or good noon, or good night. Good night.
Hopefully, I can go to one.
The problem is they're all in America, and I don't live there.
One day, because they seem pretty fun. You know, there's been a lot of them in the past, but I don't know, who knows. Teapot was not going to happen. I know what you're thinking. This is not a theory. This was actually said by Satomi herself, that they were going to, instead of splitting up BFB, what they were going to do instead was kill off 46 contestants. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of stupid, but it was actually true.
I'm glad they did Teapot then.
True, and that would have upset so many people in the OSC. It is not even.
Yeah, it would have. Good they didn't do it, because the OSC would have instantly died.
Funny. I'm gonna be honest though. It would be kind of cool to see what like the OSC would be like in an alternate timeline, to where like Teapot actually didn't happen and they just freaking killed off 46 contestants. Yo.
They just they just twist a knife into... They just, like, get a Nerf gun and just... And they kill Bubble.
Bro, the amount of... Like, bro, they would lose so many subscribers. Yo.
It's a good thing they didn't do that, though.
Shape World.
Shape World. Shape World.
World was just an object show that got famous for being, like, really bad. I don't mean, like, object terror bad. I mean, like, bad quality. Like, the animation was pretty bad and the voice acting was pretty bad. In fact... around like 2019 to like 2021, everybody was trying to reboot Shape World. I think there were like 5 reboots. And like the funny thing is, all 5 reboots were made by different people. And like when I tell you everybody was trying to reboot
I'll bring back Shape World.
Shape World, I'm not even lying to you. Like when I was on Scratch at the time, there were at least like 3 Shape World reboots. Like yo, like why? What's everybody trying to reboot this? Nah, I'm just playing. I watched
Good show.
all of them. I know, I'm a hypocrite, but yeah, I did watch all of them. They were pretty funny. Fiery Underwear.
Fiery Underwear.
Fiery Underwear is one of the many memes in the object show community.
Let's see, we've got gunpowder, bubbles, and poison dart frogs.
It started from some dude named Cloudy Eggs, basically just making it into a meme, and then Carrie made a song about it, and then it got popular basically.
H2SO4. I don't know what that is.
So it turns out the dude that made Fiery Underwear, Cloudy Eggs, about that guy. He turned out to be a weirdo too.
Yo, nice.
We're gonna talk about him more indefinitely at the bottom of
an indefinite island.
The iceberg. Of course we are. Meetups.
Whoopsies, I didn't want to.
This entry is pretty self-explanatory. Meetups are basically just like, meetups.
You already did this one.
You get to meet famous.
You did this one already, sir.
Creators in the OSC, like Jack and Jellify, Inanimate Insanity. I think who am I talking about? I think Bribe's usually there too.
This is the same audio.
Webbs is there. I think I don't really pay attention.
Minor editing mistake.
To those, like I'm not really always updated with the meetups, but they.
My neighbors are mad at me. I'm gonna close the window. Whoopsies.
Seemed pretty fun. Like I always kind of wanted to go to one. I was never able to, but hopefully I can go to one day because they seem pretty fun. You know, there's been a lot of them.
I agree. What did I say before?
But I don't know. Who knows? Htwins.net.
Htwins.net
was an old website created by Michael and Carrie Huang, basically just where it would have a bunch of old flash files of BFDI assets, backgrounds, character stuff. But unfortunately, this website doesn't really work anymore, is because Flash Player was shut down in 2020. So, like, all of the files there don't really work anymore.
Look, Look, Battle for Dream Island. It just takes you to Jack and Jellyfish's YouTube page. There's like 5B, there's Elemental 3, there's Scale of the Universe, there's more. Look, there's all these things that kind of probably almost a little bit work.
BFDI assets, either download the FLA files or you can go to the wiki. But hey, if you want to try it, then go for it.
I did already.
You're gonna get disappointed though.
No, you're gonna be disappointed.
PowerPoint shows. This entry just refers to a mini genre.
Oops, I made one of those.
In the object show community, which was basically the same as other object shows, just made on PowerPoint instead of Adobe Flash.
Except with Google Slides.
This genre was most popular
and
in
Keynote.
The mid 2010s / late early 2010s. I will say that this genre is dying off is because more people are starting to use Adobe Animate because one, there's like cracked versions on YouTube that you can download for free, and two,
no, that's piracy. I would never pirate everything I own, I bought with my own money.
It's just a more efficient animation app to use for animatic shows, you know. And if you don't know what an animatic show is, it's post-to-post animation. But yeah, people just realized that Adobe Animate was a better platform to use. So they decided to move to that, and the PowerPoint genre in the object show community is slowly dying out today. Woody's Fears.
You're slowly dying.
This one.
Woody with an IE?
Wonderful entry is
minor editing mistake.
Basically just referring to how, how do I say this? Woody in BFB used to, not anymore, used to be a pussy. Alright, okay, look.
Just say he used to be scared of everything, mate. Just say he used to be scared of everything.
Look, I know, it's insensitive, but it's true. He was a scaredy cat. He was scared of everything. And by everything, I mean everything. There's like a 200-page list of all of his fears. But, fortunately, Woody does not have a lot of these fears anymore, and now runs a show, which used to be owned by Blocky, but is now owned by Woody, called Woody's Fear Destroyer, in post with BFB. So, yeah.
WFDI. Maybe.
Woody got the happy ending this time, and not everybody on this iceberg got the happy ending. I will tell you
I got the happy ending.
that. Contestant vote shows. This entry.
I do love a good contestant vote show. I've been thinking Inanimate Insanity Season 4, I'm probably going to make a contestant vote, to be honest. Just because I want to be able to have control of it.
Basically just refers to all of the contestant vote shows. Mainly Inanimate Insanity is the most popular instance of this happening, is because it was one of the first contestant vote shows ever. Along with Object Overload, that was also a very interesting one too. It was one of...
Oh, I loved Object Overload. Yeah.
The first contestant vote shows in the OSC. And then after Inanimate Insanity and Object Overload, people started doing contestant vote shows way more.
They are good. They're like, you want good lore, you want good writing, you want a good plot. A contestant
and
vote shows.
It's kind of became its own little niche within the object show
Subgenre,
community.
I would say.
Cut lines and scenes. This entry is pretty self-explanatory. This just refers to all the cut lines and scenes in object shows. Like I said earlier, mainly in BFDI and Inanimate Insanity.
One deleted HFJ one deleted scene.
You could go to some other videos, or you can go to some other commentary videos made by other creators on this topic. Because I'm not going to elaborate more, it's because I already talked about this, and I'm too lazy. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys, I really am sorry. Filler.
I'm not.
Basically just filler and object shows to where like the characters are just doing dumb stuff just to do dumb stuff for no reason.
That's like the entirety of Object Idiocy.
One of the more funnier instances of filler and object shows will be in Inanimate Insanity Season 2, where they actually brought it up in a pretty funny and jokingly way. But if you're an aspiring object show creator, I would say to avoid filler in your object shows.
I would say put as much filler as you can.
It's not like entirely unavoidable, but just try to get around it as much as you can. Alternate episode endings. This entry just refers to all the cut lines and cut endings in episodes, mainly BFDI, and I think the most popular instances of this happening was in BFB3. Correction, it was not in BFB3. BFB3 had a whole alternate episode, which I'm not going to go into today, because we'll be here for about 3 hours. So, yeah. Basically,
I've got time.
Alternate episode was a backwards race, I think. I am not a good researcher.
I want to see that. I do want to see. I think that's better than the BFB3 we got. Just from that plain description.
Sorry. But, yeah. So, I think there was an alternate ending in BFB or BFDI 25. I do not know what that was exactly. It's just something that I heard from a couple of my friends. So if you guys know what any of that means, then
I know what it was.
Feel free to elaborate with me in the comments. BFDI theories. BFDI theories was a show most popularized by creators like Fast Duck and Face. Then feel free to heard from a couple of my friends. So if
I know what it was.
you guys know what any of that means, then feel free to
I do know.
Elaborate with me in the comments. BFDI theories.
Fast Duck.
BFDI theories was a show most popularized by creators like Fast Duck and Fortle, who basically just theorized alternate endings, versions.
I've been considering doing a couple theories, but I'm too stupid.
And the true meanings of certain BFDI episodes
And I really like Fast Duck's editing.
or characters. I used to binge watch these back in the day while I would like eat stuff. I don't know why, like something about that just made me want to watch BFDI theories while I was eating.
That wasn't like a sarcasm. I do think it's kind of cool.
I don't know why. I just did. But yeah, a lot of these theory videos get pretty good views, especially if you go to Fast Duck's channel.
They get good views, eh? Alexa, remind me to make BFDI theory. I don't have an Alexa.
A lot of his theory videos have over 100,000 views, I think. Yes, actually.
I've only got one video with over 100,000 views, and it doesn't have anything to do with BFDI. It's the Ribs, the Roblox YouTube.
Yes, they do.
You shouldn't watch it. I hate that video, but I'm not going to take it down because I'll lose a lot of my views.
Some of them do, not all of them. But yeah, they do get pretty good views. Oh, that's all for Tier 2. Let's move on to Tier 3.
Below the waves. Oh, right. I'm supposed to stop. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, and then comment, and then subscribe, in that order, or else you are banned permanently from ever watching Inanimate Insanity Invitational episode 16 ever again.